All right, so let's get started, and happy to see so many people already joining. So welcome to this week's PTC Talks, where we are happy by having Lucas Schultz from Transition Technologies, PSC, for a session on an energy advisor for manufacturing, powered by ThingWorx. But first, just a very quick introduction by me. So my name is Torbjörn Peterson, and I'm the Alliance Manager for PTC in the Nordics, leading these webinars where we invite customers and partners for some inspiration on digital transformation to see what is possible and how to make things happen. And we are running these webinars on Fridays, same time, 3 times a month, with different kind of topics around either manufacturing, services, or engineering. And then recordings of all the sessions are to be found on the registration site. The agenda for today is first a very quick overview of PTC by me, and then Lucas will run the show by introducing himself, touch base on a few challenges, how to address these, and then explain some of the business outcomes. And at the end, we are having a Q&A session, so please keep your questions to the end, and you may also put them in the chat, and we will pick them up during the Q&A. So there we are. Okay, so PTC is a global software company with a headquarters in Boston, and we are providing market-leading solutions on IoT, augmented reality, PLM, SLM, ALM, and CAD, through the digital thread to help companies to accelerate their digital transformation. By also having some AI integrated in several of our PTC solutions. Now over to you, Lucas.
Thank you. Hello, everyone. Thanks for joining us today, and thank you, PTC, for inviting me. I will have pleasure to show you our solution that we built in Transition Technologies PSC, based on ThingWorx IoT platform, which we called Energy Advisor for Manufacturing. And I would like to guide you through this journey with these 5 crucial questions. Yes, that's it. Let's start. First of all, who are we? Let me start with who am I. My name is Lucas Schultz. I'm dealing with industrial IoT matters in Transition Technologies PSC. And Transition Technologies PSC is a company that was started more than 30 years ago. And for last 18 years, we are close partners with PTC, developing their software, integrating their software. At the moment, we have already 23 offices. In every time zone, we can provide support to our customers, not only with sales guys and contact guys, but also we have engineering team there. Our main areas of interest are these 8 mentioned here, and of course today we just focus on Internet of Things and Industry 4.0. And another slide that presents you what technologies we like to work with. Of course, our main partner and framework that we love to work with is from PTC, but also we are cooperating with AWS, Microsoft, RealWare. We already provided this 1,200, more than 1,200 projects to our customers. Here you can see some of the logos. Unfortunately, at least for us, a lot of customers don't agree to present their logo. They want to be ahead of their competitors. They keep the cards close to the chest. But let's move to the important stuff. What exactly is that Energy Advisor? What it brings to the table? So among all those projects that we provided over the years, there were quite a few dealing with energy and utilities cost for manufacturing industry. But we noticed that recently, for the last few years, we see this topic gaining huge momentum. We believe it is due to, first of all, rising competition on the market. So the pressure is no longer manufacturers no longer compete just with the company next door. They are competing against the whole world. So the pressure is higher and higher, and companies need to control their spendings. Also, most recent events, war on Ukraine, rising tension in the Middle East, affects prices fluctuation of gas, oil a lot, which again raises a concern in manufacturing industry. And global climate problem make more and more public place, and also regulators deal with it by introducing some laws, some reporting duties. So all the companies that used to treat energy and utilities costs just like another tax to pay once a month, now really want to dive deep and understand where they are spending the money and how effect on environment it has. So first of all, we wanted to create from all these experiences from previous projects to combine it into this energy advisor for manufacturing solution starter. So first of all, it's a tool to control your costs on energy and utility spendings. But what is important in production context, I will explain later more in details. Tool to increase energy efficiency, so use less energy to produce the same, and also to control supply quality, because during these turbulent times there were cut off some provisions, or there were fluctuations in like frequency of electrical power and so on. So customers are asking us, we need something to document fluctuations and if they are compliant to the contract. And also, of course, reporting, controlling, and introduction of initiatives in the ESG strategy. We already... Yes, someone is quite loud there. We already received few awards for that. This is just from the last half year. But let's get to why we develop it on ThingWorx instead of just propose to use another EMS solution, because EMS solution, energy management solutions, are on the market for plenty of years. But our customers, together with us, found that they have limitations. So we built Energy Advisor not to be just direct replacement of energy, just another energy management system. It can be added as additional layer of understanding, even if customer already have EMS. And why? Most of EMSs are provided by hardware suppliers. So they work well only with this supplier hardware, meters, etc. We know customers build their plans over some more years. It's not greenfield that we can plan everything from one supplier. So they have plenty of different vendors there. They need to connect all of them. And that's where IoT platforms, especially ThingWorx, are best. Also, these EMS systems usually are limited to part of the subset of utilities. If it's EMS for electrical energy, it keeps just there. You cannot add steam, gas. If it is more boiler oriented, you will see water, gas, but no compressed air. So we thought we should make one place where everything will be kept together. So this WAGES, which stands for water, air, gas, electrical energy, and steam, but as well much more like vacuum, heat, technical gases. EMSs focus on total consumption only. Okay, momentary consumption as well, but no parameters of energy, no real cost, and no additional KPIs, which I believe gives them more data to do the change. And they are also organized around measuring points. You will see the list of meters and you will see how much they consume. But to make easier impact optimization in the shop floor, we believe it should be presented with the consumers. You should need to understand this machine consumes air, steam, and electrical energy in this amount. What's most important, this machine, you need to observe how much it consumes, depends on its state. If it's in the shutdown, it should not consume. Maybe some valve was not closed. You need to have it, this additional context. The same with the product. It depends if you produced on the full capacity or you produced in the limited number, it should affect consumption as well. So we believe this is the main part of Energy Advisor for manufacturing, giving this broader context with some additional tools to calculate cost at the end of the month, predict demand, and also benefits with going with IoT platforms, modern like ThingWorx, cybersecurity. All those EMSs used to be treated like just another industrial automation systems, which for a long time had no cybersecurity as important goal. They are quite obsolete. The same with the scalability with EAM-FM on ThingWorx. It's easy to move it to another plant, to another line, add additional measurements. And also flexibility. We can adjust it to these very particular needs of the customer. And now how we created it on ThingWorx, which parts we used. Since the biggest challenge, I believe, always in digitalization of manufacturers is connecting data sources. With ThingWorx, it's much easier because we have a lot to choose from. So if we want to have these meters connected and see these values, we can use, if there is already present BMS, building management system, or burner management system, or HVAC is also there, EMS, we can read this data with the connector from ThingWorx, like REST API, OPC, or direct to database with JDBC. There is a plethora of solutions. In case there is no additional system and EAFM will be the main EMS in the end, we can connect directly to the meters. If they are quite modern, then usually comply, communicate with Modbus or PCUA, all those open protocols. And then ThingWorx Kepler server comes on stage. Probably you all know it. We know it, we love it. More than 150 dedicated drivers for communication. It makes life much easier. And then connection to ThingWorx is also works like a charm with store and forward. So even if you lose communication, it keeps original measure timestamps, and whenever you restore it, you have all of it. It also happened that a lot of meters are communicating only with their dedicated protocols, like MBus, which is metering bus, or this DLMS, COSEM. COSEM stands for Companion Specification for Energy Metering, and they cannot be directly connected to ThingWorx. Then we advise customer to go with gateways, converters, switch to more open. If the meters are really old, then usually they're communicating with just analog signals, where we can again propose, this is IO hub, you can connect analog there and it communicate with ThingWorx with more open protocols. In worst case scenario, where electrical energy meters sometimes just provide you blink of a LED every 10 kilowatts, then we can just count LEDs with additional sensor. So there is always a way. But the left side, what I presented now, is just what EMS would do. The good EMS, but still only EMS. If we want to have this additional understanding, we need to know if machines were running, how much they produce. So we need this production context. Best to take it from MES. If there is MES, we're going to connect there. And state can be taken from CMMS, from some SCADA systems. But if they are not in place, usually companies use some kind of historian. Historian is connected to the machines, so we can use data from the historian. And if it is FactoryTalk historian, there is dedicated connector for ThingWorx. But FactoryTalk historian underneath, under the hood, is just OCPI historian, which is kind of a leader on the market, so it's easy to connect there. If not, we can connect with by REST API directly to the database. There are plenty of ways. If there is no such systems on site, we can speak directly to PLCs, PACs, to controllers with dedicated drivers, and Kepler is best at it. For Siemens, Rockwell, Mitsubishi, whatever, you name it, they have it. In case PLC do not have enabled these functions, we usually recommend our customers to contact provider of this machine. Usually it costs a little bit, like enabling OPC-UA control require updating firmware, or paying small license fee, or adding communication module, which will make this communication available. So there are plenty of ways that we can get information from the shop floor, and also plenty of ways that we can allow share this information to the higher level softwares. This is not part of Energy Advisor Starter, so I will not get into details. Maybe a part of Green PLM, which is also TTPSC solution, and we presented in during this PTC talks like 1 month ago, I believe. And how ThingWorx help us to build solution that we can install on one plant, but also on another with quite easy way and giving the same experience. So you know ISA 95 structure, which on the during the Industry 3.0 era always speaks one level to another. So whenever sensor only to PLC, PLC only to sensors and SCADA, and so on and so on. But with IoT and Industry 4.0 revolution, we are now able to contact each of these layers. All of them may have exactly the same information, but coded differently, called differently, quite specific to the plant, to the developer that did the application or program the PLC or documentation code. Every plant will have something different. We need to speak, of course, to someone from the plant that will help us map it. But after we map it, in ThingWorx data model, it will be visible in more easy to understand and digest way. So there is a thing represent consumer, thing have properties, and these properties is easy to understand with the description units, etc. So it's already standardized, and then we can share it with users, with another applications, data scientists, benchmarking systems, reporting, because it is already in the context like this is line 1, line 2, I don't know, burner 1 on boiler 1, burner 2 on boiler 1. It will be easy to digest and work with this data to squeeze more info from it. And why we believe customers are moving into such solution. I will present you some use cases that we built in after discussion with our customers. And maybe you will find that this is good for you as well or for your customers. So first of all, comparison of how much you consumed of your energy or utilities, maybe for the same product, but if it was built during night shift or during day shift, when tariff for electrical energy is different. Maybe on line 1 against line 2 or node workstation 1 against workstation 2. This additional level of understanding which helps you plan most efficient routing and time to produce. System to detect losses. Whenever you go to shop floor of manufacturer, you almost always hear at least hissing of some leakages of compressed air. This is most common. So by monitoring how much your compressor room is providing compressed air, and then knowing most of your consumers, of course, no one will install on each and every outlet of compressed air, but at least knowing your most biggest consumer, you will know like 70% of normal consumption goes there. So 30% you usually treat as unmeasured but important. If suddenly this 30% risen to 35, 40, you know immediately that you have a leakage somewhere. So you can act immediately and cut the losses. What also happens quite a lot, even on the most advanced customers that we deal with, unknown losses during shutdown. I know a customer who had heating on the whole year. If it was hot outside or cold outside, always heaters were on. No one cared about this so much. It was somewhere in the HVAC system. We can set alerts on it. We can compare it with this plant, this line is shut down, it should not consume. This plant has a holiday break, it should not consume this and this. So it's important to understand this as well and find losses and cut them. As I already mentioned, some customers came to us that recently quality of supplied utilities and energy drops, and they need system to document it, proof to the contractor that it's out of a contract limit. Like I said, frequency of electrical energy, it can affect, it can even stop your production if it goes too far from contractual 50 Hertz. And the same on steam, water, whatever. So we also controlling this. What else? We added kind of a calculator. With it, you can check for the next billing time if you keep the same level of production like for the last few months. If prices on, let's say, gas reason suddenly will rise, you can check how it will affect your bills. But what more? You can use it to recalculate, okay, I used to set heating on my shop floor only with gas. What if I move to electrical energy? So gas consumption will drop, higher electrical energy, including tariffs, how at the end of the month it will affect my bills. So we added this calculator. You can find opportunities to control your costs. With our Guardian module, you will receive information if at the end of total billing month, there is danger that you will cross contractual level. If you overconsume, the demand charges can be quite huge. So it's good to know in advance and maybe move some production to night shift, maybe switch to your own photovoltaic or another source of energy. And the same Power Guardian keeps you from overconsumption in the peaks, because in the 15 minutes, that's how usually it's being charged, you cannot consume too much kilowatts in this peak. So it's better to not start 3 or more huge consumers in the same time. Move them 15 minutes later and you're good. You will not pay penalty and additional cost. Of course, knowing the source CO2 emission, you can calculate total equivalent of CO2 emission and check effect. Okay, I will switch to my photovoltaic, hydro plant, geothermal, whatever, how it affects this total emission. It's a good step on the road to carbon neutrality. And reporting is an input to all the reporting systems for the governments, for HQ about margins. It's good to have one source of reports that can be customized to your needs. And the last part is where to start, because this transformation is not so easy. So we found that it's better to do it step by step. Our starter program for Energy Advisor for Manufacturing Accelerator, starting with workshop. And I see the time is quite short, so let me just focus on the bolded one. But I encourage you later to look at everything we mentioned here, and if something catches your eye, please do not hesitate to contact us. But let's just focus on the highlighted one. Workshops. We're meeting with the customer. We're checking what situations on the shop floor, what devices, what the needs, what expected goals. And we need, together with customer, to find the golden point. Of course, it's better to have electrical measurement or air consumption measurement close to each and every consumer, but it's not financially efficient. So at least we need to find out, maybe for this line, it's enough if you know at the entry to your line. For another one, we know huge consumers. Okay, it would be nice to control separately these two consumers on the line. We cannot provide you reliable information for optimization if it's just at the entry to your plant. It's not enough to make decisions. Yeah, you need to know which line, which devices consume what. And in case customer or integrator cannot provide it, we have in the Transition Technologies group, we have company Transition Technologies Control Solutions, which is doing exactly that, INC, instrumentation and control installations. So they can support. But usually customers have their own partners and they're doing it by themselves, just with our consulting which devices to use and where. By installing later, when workshop infrastructure is done, we're installing accelerator. Customer can play with it, can find out what information he can take from it by seeing finally these reports in real time, notification, etc. But we are not leaving customer just with the software. We are not throwing software and hoping for the best. We are supporting every step. And at the end of some agreed period, usually 3-4 months, we're sitting together with the customer, trying to estimate what he reached, what improvements or what improvements should be done as a priority, what functions he would like to add to the Energy Advisor, what integrations. So we are preparing together this roadmap, considering ROI and time to value. And then where can be expanded. Energy advisor for manufacturing, of course, ThingWorx. You can build whatever you want, but we already know where we want to, what we want to add. This AAA list, it's AAA product. So first of all, tracking improvement. That's what customer most often came up with. They want to do snapshot of ENPI, energy performance indicator, before initiatives. They track steps of the initiative for improvement in this area, and then check again KPIs, compare if it's on the good side or no. On the analytics side, sorry, I see time is running out. We believe good information is correlating with production planning software, some APS, advanced planning scheduler software. We know what you plan to produce. We can tell you which lines are good or not, or you can check it. And also to the planning software, we can give additional information. You can plan, of course, knowing how the rearming machines, what you have in the supply, what are the orders, but also how much it's going to cost to produce the same product on line 1, line 2, line 3. And with our division dedicated to machine learning and AI, we building this advisor, contextual advisor, that will take all this data, predict, do the model, and predict your consumption and introduce the advisor. So by connecting to the planning software, it will give you information. I see what you want to plan. It's better to think about moving this production to the night shift, or these 3 products built together one next to another on the line number 3, because this will be most optimal. So these are areas where we know we want to grow, but of course we always listen to our customers. They are the closest one. They know how to turn data into information and profit. And that's it for this brief introduction. I encourage everyone to contact us. And now you heard myself, thank you. Now I would like to hear you with some questions.
Thanks a lot, Lucas, for sharing a lot of interesting stuff around this very hot topic, and a lot of, interesting findings, on the solution that you're having here. So as I said, let's open up for any questions in the audience. I think I have some few here already, and one was actually regarding, the expected savings for a typical manufacturing plant.
Yeah, quite typical question. Good one. First of all, this solution gives customer visibility and understanding. It do not mean that he needs to adjust. It depends on his action. But when we track history of what customers that goes this way reach, it's usually 20-25% of cut cost of the energy and utilities. But it depends. It always depends what the customer will do. Software itself just shows you values. It do not do anything for you. It just points you out where you should act.
Right. I had another one here also, that relates a little bit, to the ISO standard. And is your solution ISO 5001 compliant?
Yeah. For the moment, we didn't do the comparison with it. We know this norm, ISO 50001.
Yeah.
But previously, our customers were just happy with what we are providing here. We didn't do the comparison one-to-one, but we know we cover like 80% of it immediately, but we didn't do the study. It's a very good question. Not yet.
Right.
Not certified yet.
Thank you. We had another question here. And what are the challenges that you are facing?
Challenges. The place one, I already mentioned it, gathering the data. This takes the most time. And sometimes customers saying he do not see enough benefits of installing additional meters. He just have 1 meter at the input to his plant, and he is reluctant to go with installing additional data sources. And with limited sources, you can have limited results. Yeah. So always infrastructure and connectivity.
Right. Thanks. Another question again here. How eager or ready are manufacturing companies in general by utilizing an energy management solution?
Recently, they're more and more eager. They're sending a lot of questions about this. That's why we combined, previously we didn't thought about doing solution for just every company came to us and say, I want solution that do this. We are doing it custom. But recently, more and more companies find out there are money they are losing. So they are more and more open for this solution. Usually they starting with some EMS, and after some time they see, okay, this EMS lacking this function, I cannot go further just with it. So I believe companies are more and more open for such initiatives.
Interesting. Another question also here, I mean, do you analyze energy quality within your solution as well, or?
If the metering system provides this data, and usually at least on the energy side they are, yes, we are. So we are tracking, this 50 hertz plus minus 5%. Whenever it happens, we raise alert and we store this data. Of course, they require millisecond or even more resolution signals. So we are not reading all of it to the ThingWorx because it will be busy with just dealing this immediate signals. Mm-hmm. But on the Kepler level or on the meter level, events are registered. So even if for a millisecond it rises above it, you need 230. If it drops to 215, you have an event, you store it, you know it. So yes.
Thank you. I think we could pick one last question here, and that is related, to the MES system. What if there is no MES system in place?
Yes. Or yeah. Still, we see a lot of companies use MES as Microsoft Excel system. This is what they mean by planning production. So in this case, in Energy Advisor, we have additional operator input screen. So after the day of work, someone can manually or by injecting Excel formula, we are giving this template in Excel, what was produced, code of the product, how much was produced, what were the downtimes. So it can be manually inserted by a UI or injecting Excel. Yes, we know still some companies do not have MES systems.
Thank you, Lucas, and thank you everyone for joining, because time is actually running out. So thanks again, everyone, for this session. Fantastic, interesting, and a lot of good findings here, I think, for everyone. So with that, I hope to see you back already in 2 weeks, for the next PTC Talks on the 8th of March for a session around geometric similarity search in perfection by MAIT. So stay tuned for that and have a fantastic weekend, everyone. Take care. Bye-bye.
Thank you.